Hello guys, this is going to be lesson 4.3, writing equations in point-slope form. So we've already talked about two forms of the line. We talked about standard, which was, if you remember, ax plus by is equal to c. We talked about slope-intercept, which was y is equal to mx plus b. And now we're going to talk about our third form of the line, which is point-slope form. And this one's actually my favorite. So let's go ahead and jump on in. Now, point-slope form is when you are given, as the name implies, a point and a slope. It is this equation right here. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. Now, the nice thing about this equation, and it's the reason why it's my favorite, is you can use any point and the slope for the equation. All right, so slope-intercept form, when you were doing y equals mx plus b, okay, you had the slope, but then b back here was the y-intercept. It had to be the y-intercept. And if you didn't know what the y-intercept was, you had to go and find it. Well, with point-slope form, you don't need to find anything. As long as you're given a point and the slope, you can take those pieces of information and plug it on in. Now, I do want to make a remark here. Notice how in my y equals mx plus b equation, okay, the slope-intercept equation, notice how there is a y and an x. Okay, remember, the parent function of linear equations is y is equal to x. Okay, y and x. The reason why I mention this is because you need the variables y and x in the equation. Okay, if at any point y and x completely vanish, something went wrong. Okay, you need y and x in order to graph. So when you go to point-slope form, you're going to be plugging things into y1 and x1. But don't forget, you need a y and an x in the equation. So this first one, they're going to stay in the equation at all times. At no point should you plug anything into these two, only into y1 and x1. Okay? Let's do some problems. Here we go. Write the equation in point-slope form for the line that passes through 3 point -2 and a slope of 1 over 4. Okay, so we need it in point-slope form. So that's y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And I'm going to plug my point only in to the x1 and y1. So here we go. I'm going to take my information. I'm going to plug it in. Y plus 2, because minus a negative is a positive, is equal to 1/4 times x minus 3. And that's it. That is the equation of the line in point-slope form. You don't need to do anything else, which is the other reason why I love it, is there's not a whole lot of math required for these problems. It's great. Now, to graph it, what you're going to do is you're going to graph the point first. So this is 3, -2. There it is. And then you're going to use the slope and go from there. So this is a 4 over 1, or 1 over 4. So that's up 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go down to the left. So that's down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. There it is. And I draw my line. And that's it. So, point-slope form, you take your information, you plug it into the equation, and then when you're graphing, you graph the point you're given. So this would have been 3, -2. You take the point you're given, you put it on the graph, and you go for the slope. You do the next one, the video is going to pause, and when it plays again, you'll see the answer. How'd you do? There's the answer. So again, you just take your points and you plug it into the equation. Now, if you want, what you can do is you can always label your points. Just remember, this is x1 and this is y1. And what that helps you with is it helps you remember to plug into x1 and y1. Now, you're not always going to be given the point and the slope. Those two problems were very nice because they gave us exactly what we needed. But sometimes you could be given the slope and a point, and that's lovely. Other times you could be given 2 points. Okay, now think to the name of our equation, point, slope. We need a point, we need a slope, we have 2 points. We need a slope, which is why the very first step is going to be to find the slope. And we know how to find the slope using the slope equation. Once you find that, you just plug everything back into the equation, and there it is. Now let's take this problem right here. We have 4, 3, negative 6, 0. Now the way we would do this is first off, we need to find the slope. So that's going to be 0 minus 3 over negative 6 minus 4, which is a negative 3 over negative 10. Negative over negative is a positive. So you're going to simplify and you get 3 over 10. This is my slope. Okay, now that I have my slope, I can take either one of my 2 points. Either one works, and you're going to plug it into the equation. So potentially there are 2 different answers for this. The first one would be y minus 3 is equal to 3 over 10 times x minus 4. The other answer would be y minus 0 is equal to 3 over 10 x plus 6. And both of these answers are going to be correct. And the reason how you know they're correct is you can distribute into the parentheses for both, and you could actually rewrite this in slope-intercept form, or you can rewrite it in standard. And when you rewrite this equation in either one of those 2 forms, it turns out exactly right. It turns out to be the exact same thing. Let's go ahead and let's practice a few more of these. And while we're at it, let's do both methods so we can prove that they are indeed the same thing. Here we go. So this first one, okay, I'm going to use red and blue so you can see what I'm doing. But go ahead, make sure you have these in your notes. Let's do this. Now this first one, we have negative 2, 8 and 0, 3. We need it in point slope form, so the first thing we need is a slope. So m is going to be equal to 3 minus 8 over 0 plus 2, because this negative minus a negative is a positive. So I've got a negative 5 over 2 as my final answer, or as my slope. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to write both forms of point slope. So I've got y, using this first one, y minus 8 is equal to negative 5 over 2, x plus 2. And then, with the second one, y minus 3 is equal to negative 5 over 2, x minus 0. All right, now what I'm going to do is we're going to rewrite both of these in slope-intercept form so that you can see they are indeed the exact same thing. Now what I mean by rewrite in slope-intercept form, here's what we're going to do. We're going to distribute and we're going to move things around until we get it in the form of y is equal to mx plus b. Okay, so it has to be in that exact order. So let's go ahead and do it. For the red equation, I'm going to distribute, and now I have y minus 8 is equal to a negative 5 over 2 x plus, or no, minus, because negative times a positive is a negative, minus, that's going to be, my denominator will cancel out, minus a 5. If you want the in-between step, what happened was, it was negative 10 over 2. 10 divided by 2 is my negative 5. Okay, I'm going to add 8 to both sides, because I need y by itself. And I have y is equal to a negative 5 over 2x plus 3. All right, let's see if the other one does the same thing. Here we go. I'm going to distribute. Y minus 3 is equal to a negative 5 over 2x minus 0, but we don't really need to write minus 0 because it's minus 0. All right, and I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Y is equal to a negative 5 over 2x plus 3, same as the other one. So, as you can see, it doesn't matter which point you use, the answer will be correct as long as you put them in the equation correctly. Now, on to letter B. We have the x-intercept and we have the y-intercept. So let's remember, When I have the x-intercept, I'm going to rewrite that as the point, -3, 0. Sorry, my pen's not really writing today. All right, fixed it. And I'm going to write the y-intercept as 0, 4. Okay, those are my 2 points. So don't be confused or nervous or scared when you only see the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Remember, those are points by themselves, and you can rewrite them as the points. Okay, the video's going to pause.
The video's going to pause.
It will
Go
play,
ahead
and you'll see
do
the
it for
right
yourself.
slope. It'll
Let's
pause
put
again,
it in point
and when
slope
it plays
form
again,
first.
you'll see the final answer. So that way you can kind of check your work as you go. All right, here we go. The first pause. See if you can get the slope right. How'd you do? If you stopped here, do not forget to simplify all the way and get rid of your negatives. Remember, a negative over negative is a positive. Okay, the video is going to pause. Pick one of the 2 points. It doesn't matter. Go ahead and rewrite it. And here are our answers. Now, the red one you see has a second option for an answer. That's because we really don't need to write plus or minus 0. Again, it's just 0. And because it's the y value that's 0, that's how we can drop it there. And it's the same thing. However, with the x value, in the blue equation, when 0 is x, as you can see over here, you're going to leave it in the parentheses because the parentheses is a part of the point slope pattern. Okay? We're writing the equation within a certain pattern, and so we have to match that pattern exactly. Now, when you can distribute, like we did in the problem above, once you distribute, you can drop the 0. It doesn't matter. You don't have to add or subtract 0, but right here, it's serving as a placeholder within the parentheses. And so you have to leave it there when you have the parentheses because it serves a place in the pattern. All right. Now, in letter A, we kind of hinted at how you can rewrite the different equations from point slope. You can write the equation in slope-intercept form, and you can write the equation in standard form. From point slope, you can really do a lot of things and go to both of the different types of equations. So let's go ahead and practice that. Let's practice rewriting them in the 2 variations. So here we go. We have 2 equations in point slope form, and we're going to rewrite them into the different forms. First one is standard, second one is slope-intercept. So as a reminder, standard, ax plus by is equal to c. It has to be in that order. And don't forget, a needs to be positive. So let's do this. First off, I'm going to take this number and I'm going to distribute into the parentheses. That's going to give me y minus 1 is equal to a negative 2 over 3x plus, negative times a negative is a positive, 10 over 3. Remember, the whole number gets multiplied to the numerator. Now from here we have a few options. I need to get everything into this format. ax plus by is equal to c. So here is my x term right here. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to add it to the other side just to get it over there. So I'm going to add 2 over 3x to both sides. I'm allowed to do this. So now I have 2 over 3x plus y minus 1 is equal to a negative 10 over 3. Okay, now I need to move my constant term to the other side. So now I'm going to do that. I have 2 over 3x plus y, add 1 to both sides, and now I have 10 over 3 plus 1. Okay, we have to combine those back 2 right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply everything by 3 to cancel out my fractions. And now I have a 2x plus 3y is equal to 10 plus 3, which now I can combine like terms, and my final answer is 2x plus 3y is equal to 13. And that's your final answer. Always make sure you get all of your terms in this order for standard. Okay? All right, do the next one. We have to get it into terms of y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. What's going to happen is the video is going to pause. See if you can do it on your own first. When it plays again, I'll show you my work. All right, here we go. So first off, I'm going to distribute. So let me erase this. And here we go. I'm going to distribute, change color so you can see what I'm doing. And I have y plus 3 is equal to 3 over 2x plus 3 over 2. Now, I'm trying to get it in y equals mx plus b form. So I need to get the y by itself, which means I have to move this term to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And now I have y plus, I have y equals 3 over 2x plus 3 over 2 minus 3. Now from here, we have two options. The first option is we can multiply the entire equation by a 2 so we can cancel out all of our fractions. That's what we did on the beforehand. So multiply everything by 2, and I would have 2y is equal to 3x plus 3 minus 6. The nice thing about this one, I'm going to combine like terms while I'm talking. The nice thing about this one is it makes those back two terms easier to deal with. Okay, simplifying this was nice and simple. But now I have to still get y by itself. There's another step involved. So now I'm going to divide everything by 2. And I have y is equal to 3 over 2x minus 3 over 2. Okay, so that's one way, completely valid, will work. But that dividing by 2 again, this step right here, it's an extra step. Okay, if you're going to do this way, you have to remember to divide the 2 to both terms. Now, the other way you could have done it is you simply could have remembered how to add fractions. And what I mean by that is, if I have, come up here, I'm writing in red, 3 over 2 minus 3. All right, well, how do we add and subtract fractions? We need a common denominator. So I'm going to write the whole number of 3 over 3, which would be 3 over 2 minus 6 over 2. Okay, now since they both have common denominator, I can simplify, and it's a negative 3 over 2. So then, coming back to my problem, I could just plug straight in, and I have y is equal to 3 over 2x minus 3 over 2. When I'm doing these problems, point slope in the slope intercept form, I usually don't multiply to get rid of the fraction. Okay, for the sole reason that I'm going to have to divide again to get the y by itself. I usually just leave y by itself and add and subtract fractions using a common denominator. Okay, so I do this method, that way I don't have to do this step right here and get y by itself. Now, you can pick which method you want to do. Both are equally valid, both got the same answer, so whichever one is your favorite, pick it and move on with your life. But I will always be doing the red one in class, just so that you can understand what I'm doing. But if you want, you can ask me, I'll do the blue one to kind of help you see both options. All right, here we go. Let's do some problems. Now, like I said, the benefit of point slope form is all you need are two things, the point and the slope. When we're given a graph, it's easy to find the slope. We can just count. And you can find a point by looking for a nice, neat intersection. So if I wanted to write the equation in point slope form, so y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. So write the equation in point slope form for the line containing the side TU. So that's going to be this side right here. All right, so I need the slope of this side and I need a point. Well, I'm going to use T for my point for no other reason than it came first in the name. So T, this is going to be, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to be 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 7, 5. And then my slope, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So my slope is 1. I'm going to take it, I'm going to plug it into my equation. So y minus 5 is equal to 1 times x minus 7. And that's it. Nothing more to do. Okay, let's move on to the next one. 4a, write an equation in point-slope form of the line containing ST. So ST is this side right here. So here we go. I'm going to use S for no other reason than it came first in the name. And let me change colors so you can see what I'm doing. So S is 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then my slope, over 1, down 1, over 1, down 1. So the slope is negative 1. Okay, the video is going to pause. See if you can write the equation. Okay, here are the two answers. Either one of these would have worked, simply because when we have 1, we're multiplying by 1, so we don't really have to write it. Likewise, for this top one, we could have written y minus 5 is equal to x minus 7. Okay, both of those would have worked, but just so that you can see the placeholder, go ahead and put the 1 up front. So for right now, you can see that that's where your slope was. As you get more comfortable, we'll adjust, but for right now, go ahead and put the 1 up front so you can see there's my slope, there's my slope. All right, 4b, write the equation in standard form. So you're going to take this equation and you're going to rewrite it in standard form. The video is going to pause. Go ahead and try it. And there's your final answer. All right, that's it for this PowerPoint. If you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, have a good day, guys.